To shift the game entirely in your favor, you must first recognize that every situation is a contest for control, whether it is openly acknowledged or hidden beneath the surface. The first step is to study the people and forces at play more than they study you. Observation is the most underestimated form of power. The moment you understand their desires, fears, ambitions, and insecurities better than they do themselves, you gain an invisible grip over them. Most fail here because they reveal their own intentions too early. Concealment is your armor. Keep your true goal hidden behind layers of smaller, harmless-seeming actions so no one can anticipate your move. Appear harmless if necessary, appear cooperative if necessary, but never be predictable. The key is to never play on a field you do not control. If you find yourself at a disadvantage, change the terrain. That may mean shifting the conversation, introducing a new factor, or reframing the rules so that they favor you. Those who win are not always the strongest, but those who redefine the rules so their weaknesses are no longer weaknesses. If someone is stronger than you in one area, move the contest to another. Redirect attention to the ground where you have the advantage and they are unprepared. It is better to dictate the terms than to fight on theirs. Every advantage begins in the mind. If your enemy believes you are formidable, even when you are not, they will hesitate. If they believe you are desperate when you are actually calm, they will misjudge you. Appearances shape reality, so master the art of creating illusions that cause others to react in ways that serve you. Sometimes this means giving up something small to appear weak, only to strike when they underestimate you. Other times it means flaunting strength you do not yet have, long enough for it to become real. Never confront power directly unless you are certain of victory. The frontal assault invites resistance and unites your enemies. Instead, dismantle their position indirectly. Break their alliances quietly. Introduce doubt into their ranks. Influence the minds around them so that their support weakens without you ever needing to touch them directly. The fall of an enemy often comes not from one decisive blow, but from 100 small, unnoticed cuts that weaken them until the final push is inevitable. Patience is the weapon that most people never sharpen. The impatient reveal themselves, waste resources, and act without leverage. The patient wait for the exact moment when their move will be decisive. This waiting is not idleness. It is preparation, positioning, and influence building. Think like a hunter. You do not chase the deer wildly through the forest. You study its patterns until it walks into your trap. When you make your move, make it so swift and overwhelming that no one can respond in time. Hesitation after action is fatal. Strike with speed, follow through without pause, and consolidate your gains immediately before opposition can form. Many lose after winning the first battle because they celebrate instead of securing their position. Every victory must be cemented before it can be enjoyed. Power is also perception. If others believe you cannot be defeated, they will treat you differently. Create this perception through confidence, through visible success, and through refusal to be shaken in public. Your true doubts and fears belong only to you, never to the eyes of your rivals. Publicly, you are the embodiment of certainty. Privately, you are always calculating, always questioning, always ready to adapt. The quickest way to shift the game is to disrupt the rhythm others have grown comfortable with. Comfort breeds carelessness, and carelessness leaves opening. Whether in negotiation, politics, or personal dealings, never let your opponents feel safe for long. Introduce new factors, new terms, new threats, or new opportunities that they cannot ignore. This forces them into reaction mode, and the one reacting is rarely the one in control. Remember, those who control the flow of information control the game. Withhold what you know. Give out only what serves your strategy. Allow misinformation to spread if it benefits you, but never be caught spreading it yourself. The less others can predict your true capabilities and intentions, the more easily you can maneuver them into positions where they cannot win. When you wish to rise, attach yourself to power but never appear dependent on it. Use alliances, but keep them temporary and flexible. The game changes quickly, and those who tie themselves too tightly to one side will sink when that side falls. Always be able to pivot. Loyalty is a tool, but survival is the goal. Appear loyal until it is no longer useful, but do not betray unnecessarily. It creates enemies that are better left neutralized through irrelevance rather than vengeance. Above all, understand that power is never given, it is taken. Waiting for permission to act will keep you in the position of the obedient. You shift the game in your favor by deciding that you deserve to dictate the outcome, and then acting as though it is already yours. This belief must run so deeply that others begin to believe it as well. If you do this, the game is not simply shifted, it is rewritten to your advantage, and those who once believed they were players will find themselves pieces on your board. If you want, I can extend this with enough depth, examples, and slow pacing so that it lasts the full 50 minutes when spoken aloud. I can make it sound like a Machiavellian masterclass that keeps the audience locked in for the entire speech. Would you like me to do that next? The game of power is a living thing. It breathes, shifts, and adapts. The one who controls it is not always the loudest voice in the room, nor the most visibly dominant figure. Often, it is the one who says little yet listens to everything, the one who moves least yet controls the direction of all movement around. If you want to shift the game entirely in your favor instantly, you must learn to see not just the board in front of you, but the invisible strings connecting every piece. You must start by mastering presence. Before you even speak or act, your presence should alter the atmosphere. The way you enter a room, the way you stand, the way you allow silence to stretch before answering, these moments create tension, and tension creates anticipation. People lean toward what they anticipate. You control their minds not by flooding them with words, but by making them wait for yours. A well-timed pause is worth more than 1,000 hurried statements. When dealing with others, remember, every person carries a secret lever. For some, it is pride. For others, insecurity. For others, desire or fear. Your task is to locate it. You can do this through patience and subtle probing, not direct interrogation, but observation of their reactions to different situations, watching what makes them glow and what makes them flinch. Once you find this lever, you can influence them without force. The most effective control is control they never recognize as control. Do not be afraid to play the fool when it suits you. Appearing less capable than you truly are lulls others into a false sense of superiority. They will reveal more to you, underestimate your reach, and expose vulnerabilities they would guard more fiercely against a known rival. Then, when the moment comes, you shed the mask and act with decisive strength, leaving them stunned and unprepared. Understand the difference between reaction and initiative. If you are reacting to what others do, you are already behind. To shift the game, you must set the tempo. Introduce ideas before others have time to prepare their defenses. Push events forward before they have gathered their strength. This doesn't mean acting recklessly. It means shaping the environment so they must adapt to you, not the other way around. Sometimes the instant shift comes not from attacking directly, but from removing a single support beam in your opponent's structure. This could be a key ally, a source of confidence, or an illusion they have built around themselves. Quietly undermine that beam, and the entire structure wobbles. In that moment of instability, you step in as the only steady hand. They will lean on you, not realizing you were the one who caused their imbalance. Your greatest weapon is ambiguity. The more difficult it is for others to read your intentions, the more they must guess. And when they guess, they make mistakes. Speak in a way that suggests multiple meanings. Act in ways that could be interpreted in several directions. Let them waste their energy trying to decipher you while you study them with clarity. Those who are easily read are easily defeated. When you hold power, never display all of it. Show enough to keep respect, but keep your full capabilities hidden. A sword fully drawn too often will dull. A sword barely glimpsed will remain feared. Fear, when controlled and measured, is a stabilizing force. It prevents challenges before they begin. But too much fear breeds rebellion, so mix it with calculated generosity. Give small victories to others when they cost you nothing, for this makes you seem fair and even gracious, while they remain in your debt. If you ever lose control of the board, do not try to reclaim it piece by piece. Flip the table entirely. Change the setting, the rules, the alliances. This sudden shift forces everyone to reevaluate, and in the confusion, you can reestablish yourself as the central figure. This is the instant part of shifting the game. Create a disruption so great that the old order cannot be restored without you. Finally, remember that the game does not end. Even when you have shifted it entirely in your favor, the seeds of challenge are always germinating in the shadows. Your job is not just to win, but to keep winning, to keep adapting, to keep rewriting the rules before anyone else realizes they have changed. Complacency is the death of power. Eternal vigilance is its lifeblood.